After listening to so many people, I mean, stakeholders in the Nigerian Basketball Federation and all that, both the ones who are involved in it, those who are not really involved in it, there's this issue of the fact that if you had not gone ahead to conduct the June 12 elections, before the June 13 elections, we wouldn't have had this impasse kind of leadership tussle that we are having. And for the fact that the NOC is recognizing the KIDA board and, of course, the Sport Ministry also kind of standing behind them, it's like you're practically on your own now. Or do you think FIBA is really, you know, has anything to do with this issue?
Well, FIBA is coming here because as it stands today, there is no federation, there is no Nigeria Basketball Federation leadership that's recognized in Nigeria. That is the truth of the matter. Whatever any other person holds, whatever any other opinion or contrary opinion anybody holds does not really matter. FIBA is the last authority on basketball matters in the world. And they have sent a letter to state clearly that the two elections conducted, one in Kano on June 12th and the other one so-called in Abuja on June 13th, have not been recognized by them. And this is where we are today. When they come and conclude their fact-finding mission, the information that they get face-to-face would now add up to whatever they have already documented, and then they will take a decision. And that decision is what is important to us, and that is what is the pointer. That will create the roadmap as to where we are headed. Cecilia, I want to say with the greatest sense of responsibility that channels recorded the so-called federation elections in Abuja on June 13th. And there was a very huge space allocated to basketball. And there was no one there. So there was officially no election conducted in Abuja on June 13th. So as far as we are concerned, there was no election in Abuja. Elections were supposed to be conducted in a public place, in public view, and then they hid themselves in a hotel room and organized a charade and presented it, and it was signed off by their accomplices in the Nigeria Olympic Committee. Luckily enough, we are also on the Nigeria Olympic Committee.
Okay.
We have served the Olympic movement in Nigeria with the greatest sense of responsibility. And I am on the executive committee of the Nigeria Olympic Committee. No one would define the rules for me. There's simply nothing that would be hidden for me.
Okay.
I know that there's a desperate attempt to take over the leadership of the Nigeria Basketball Federation, of course, for so many reasons that are well known to us and that we would, pursue and document to those who should know.
Okay,
this is
all
not,
right,
the forum for me to say all those things.
Okay. There was a meeting called by the NOC for both factions, and we all know the outcome was deadlocked. And what a lot of basketball fans want to know now is, what's the way forward? Are we at a situation now where we're just waiting for FIBA to come to Nigeria and sort this mess out, or would there be any other resolution before then?
Well, thank you very much for this important question. What happened when the two factions or the two leaderships met the Nigeria Olympic Committee was very significant.
Right.
In the first place, people kept claiming that they were the legitimate leaders of the Nigeria Basketball Federation. So it became very clear that they were not. Definitely they were not. Secondly, it was also a confirmation of what FIBA said. We do not recognize any of the two elections. So as it is now, there is no leadership in the Nigeria Basketball Federation known to FIBA. Thirdly, I decided to move forward from all the arguments, and which was basically why I refused this morning to respond to any spurious allegations out there by anyone. What is important is, where do we go from there? How do we sort this problem? And I said, since FIBA has made a definitive statement that they do not recognize any of the two elections, the easiest way to do is to ask FIBA to come here, because in the environment where we operate here, there's a lot of complicity. no one seems to be able to be fair, to be just, and to just create an enabling, environment for something free and fair, for an election that is free and fair to take place. Why do we have to be where we are if people were honest about these elections? It's a very simple thing. The federations are capable of conducting elections by themselves, and they would be supervised and monitored by all the parties that are concerned. So what I said is that instead of wasting time and repeating over and over that you are in charge, or this one is not in charge, none of us is recognized. So I want to say, please, FIBA, you are the only entity now that is able to be fair. Bring your neutrality to Nigeria. Try to establish a fresh election. Let us establish also the rules of engagement. And let us have a fresh election. Who wins, wins. We shake hands, hug ourselves, and then bring the families back together and move forward. It's as simple as that. Why are people refusing to come to the election? Simply because they have been promised, that they would take this leadership by force and through fraudulent, processes and give it to them. It is not going to work. Let me also advise that when FIBA comes here and concludes its assignment, we are going to be following with great interest what the outcome of that assignment is going to be, because we still have an option to move forward and ask for additional interpretation and arbitration if the outcome is not something that we think is in line with the FIBA statutes and is in concert with due process.
Okay, thank you very much, Tijani Umar, for joining us on the show today. Really appreciate your time.